What's up, y'all? Shaman Shank back at you with another one. And it's been a minute, and I'm glad to be back on here showing you one that is an absolute beaut. I know I say that about every video, but this knife, the moment I put it in my hands, I really fell in love with it. And really, to be honest with you, I wasn't really expecting it to be like this, but this knife has been in my pocket ever since I got it. And that's pretty cool to say. But let's get into it, guys. That knife I'm talking about is the EMERSON Com 7. This thing is awesome. I mean, and with it being called the Com 7, you're taking Commander and of course the QC7. And as you see, from a distance, if you're just like, you catch a glance of it, you may think, oh yeah, it's a CQC7, no big deal, in thunderstorm finish. But flip that bad boy out and you have a beautiful recurve blade, you know, Commanderish. There are some mild differences, and we will get into that. I'll break that down and show you a comparison. But yeah, you have the recurve on here with the CQC7 handles. And like I said, I'll get into that as well and compare them and show you the difference. But there's one other delicious fact about this knife. Not just the cool, you know, handle from another iconic Emerson slapped on the blade of another iconic Emerson. Probably the two most iconic Emersons in the Emerson lineage together. But the real kicker here, guys, the real kicker is that beautiful recurve blade is in MAGNACUT. Yeah, guys, the 154 CM has left the building on this knife. And I love 154 CM. If you've watched any of my videos, I have nothing but great things to say about it. Great knife, great blade still, great all around. I love it. I've never had an issue from it at all. But with that being said, MAGNACUT definitely is an upgrade. There's no doubt about it. And I'll get into that too, guys. But I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and break it down here real quick. Of course, you know, you have the CQC7 handle on there. You know what I mean? Pretty much, I mean, there is some differences. Like I said, after I just go from butt to head here, I'm going to break out the CQC7 and show you what I'm talking about. But as you see, just looking at it, you see a basic CQC7 handle. You know, I've got some, you know, the screws for you like I usually do on majority of the knives I review on here. They're on eBay. I can put that link down below. And pretty much that's all there is to it. I mean, you know, just a CQC7 handle. Now I don't own an EX100 if anybody's familiar with that, but that is a knife that kind of emulates the CQC7 handle as well, but it has a clip point, and that's currently not in stock. But I've heard people say that this handle is pretty much identical to the EX100. But back to it, guys. Handle covered. Then, of course, you've got the beautiful Commander-ish recurve blade. And it's in that beautiful thunderstorm finish. And the camera is actually kind of picking it up a little bit. I have a couple of other Emersons in thunderstorm, and for some reason, this one just has like a marble glass finish on it. Like, I mean, it pops different from my other knives, and I can also show you an example of that, what I'm about to do here. But yeah, guys, and also another really cool non-important thing that I've noticed, the lettering, you know, the badging on the actual knife is not raised on this. When it is raised on other Emersons that I own, you can't even feel it. It's just like it's lasered in, unlike, of course, I guess the other ones, whatever they do with that. But let's start comparing here, guys. Let me show you what this beautiful marriage of two Emerson icons created. And let's see what mommy and daddy have brought to the table on this baby. We're going to start off with the Commander. And I thought it'd be more fitting for me to break out the Mini Commander because, as you see, the blades are pretty daggum close in length and width altogether. But I'm just going to compare these two. And I was like, I'm not going to break out the Super Commander to compare to that. No. But this is a lot more along the same lines. But guys, as you see here, we have recurved blade. As you see, you can kind of see that difference in the finish as well. What I was talking about, this is more of like a matte finish, and this is more like a glassy gloss, which looks amazing. But comparing these blades, guys, as you see, there are some differences, okay? You got the Mini Commander down bottom, you got the Com 7 up top, and as you see, the top of, for me, the biggest change in this blade, the top of the Commander, as you see, starts sloping right at the thumb disc, okay? And when you put this one on top, as you see, at the thumb disc, you got kind of a straight out line, and then you got that dip right down into the point, which I love, to be honest with you, because this knife to me is a bit more forward facing than your, basic commander blade here. Because I mean, you can kind of see that a little bit. You see how this one's just kind of sticking straight out, even though it's sloping, and this commander just kind of slopes like it's going down at an angle. And this is pretty much going straight out at you. And really, to be honest with you, this blade, I would compare it. I wish I had it on me. I actually got it sent off to Tom Ingleson to get some Digicam scales on it. But the Patriot, I think this blade has more in common with the Patriot than the Commander, to be honest with you. And I really wish I had that to show you. But you can look up a picture of it and check it out. Or if you have a Patriot, you can look at it too, or whatever be. But the Patriot, has a recurve as well. And it also has that straight drop, where it doesn't start slanting down at the top. It just comes out straight, then it dips down. Now, the Patriot does have a little bit more of a clip from looking at it. I have compared them, together. There's a little bit more of a clip coming out, like a little bit more pointy, but this is pretty much, it's essentially the mildest hair off of being a Patriot blade, if you ask me. And you guys can give me your comments on that and tell me what you think about it. But essentially, that's what I think about it. But going back to the Commander, you really are essentially getting the same length in blade. I know on paper, the Mini Commander is listed at 3.4 inches, and this on paper is listed at 3.3. But man, they are, they're tip and tip to me. I know on camera it's kind of hard to decipher that, but they're tip and tip. Like I said, you got the change in the top, straight across, drop down. With this, you got the straight slope down. And I do think, and also, like I said, this one's a bit more forward facing, and I really think that has a lot to do with the angle and the start of that wedge. Because and it's just beautiful, guys. It has a much, from what I'm seeing here and from what my experience with this knife, it does have a much better point than a Commander blade to me. And I think that is that more forward facing factor there. It's just a little bit more pointy for me, but don't get me wrong. This bad boy is pointy and will penetrate and pierce pretty much anything, you want to, within reason, want to put it in, but there's a little bit more pointy. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the main difference here. You got that pretty much aesthetic difference with the top, but it does come into play, guys, because that forward motion right there is more like, it feels right. It really does feel right. And moving on to the CQC7, which in this case takes up the handle portion of the knife. Now, we got the COM7 on top, and we got, I don't know, my hand's blocking majority of this. I should just put it on paper here. As a matter of fact, let's try that. I'll tell you what, let's step off the beaten path a minute. Let's step off the beaten path and let's do what we got to do here, okay? Look at this. Hang on a minute. I can't even switch it around. Guys. I'm so sorry. That did not work out, okay? And I'm not going to edit that out. Who cares? But, okay, we got the COM7 over here. We got the CQC7 over here, okay? And as you see right off the bat, let me turn around so you can kind of see them from the same way here. Essentially both kind of the same, but in a way they're not, because if you compare these two lengthwise, the CQC7 is about, I would say, a quarter inch longer in handle than the actual COM7. And also, aesthetic, but definitely, something to notice. This has 4 scale screws on each side, and this, of course, comes with 3. Your finger choil is pretty much, of course, basic, non-existent. Pretty much on the CQC7. Still a solid grip with that G10. I trust this grip in any situation. But going to the COM7, you have a substantial finger choil right there, okay? And that really does kind of make up for that lack in length of that other handle. It just locks in your hand. You feel very secure in this grip. I would not, this, classic Emerson ergonomics. It feels phenomenal, guys. But essentially, they are based on the same handle. Well, I know this is the OG. This is based on this, the handle-wise. But, and also I made a comment earlier, the EX100, people have said that this handle is pretty much spot on with that knife. But, it's not called the EX100 COM or COM EX100, it's the COM7. So, but, this is the daddy of this handle, and this is what it came from. But, this knife is, even though it is a COM7, the marriage of two, wonderful knives, it really is a standalone knife. I mean, this knife, like I said, I fell in love with it the moment I put it in my hands, and I really did. And if you watch my reviews, I love bigger EDCs, like folder. I like a good 3.5 to 4 inch folder. And with this being listed at 3.3, which I mean, if this is 3.4, I'm gonna go ahead and call this 3.4 because they're tip and tip. I don't know what's off with that. But a 3.3, 3.4 blade, it's kind of in that smaller range. Some people may think, but this is no small knife. And looking back at the video of my Mini Commander, I think I made the same comment. I was like, it is a mini, but it definitely does not feel like a small knife. And this is just like that. And also the same with the CQC7. I've raved about it. I love bigger knives, but this just feels right to me. It really does. And this knife just takes this knife for me to a whole different level because, I do love Tanto. And if going back to a past review, I did have a bad run-in with a Tanto blade, with a Southern grind. It didn't appeal to me. I ended up, trading it to a buddy. But, and then I came up on the CQC7 and I loved it. But, your boy loves, I love a belly on my blade, hence I love, I love a Bowie blade. I love, clip points. And this right here is, bringing back that belly, putting the belly in this knife. But then again, there is other options. If this blade does not, if you don't like the recurve blade, you can also look at the CQC7. I believe it's called the AW. A stands for A blade. In this case with Emerson, A is like drop point. And the W is for the wave. So you're getting a CQC7 with a drop point blade with a wave. And of course, other than that, you would get the CQC7 BW. B blade is a Tanto, and the W stands for wave. And if you ever see one of those letters lacking from it, that means that's lacking from it. And you mainly would see a W lacking, so it'd be a waveless. Okay, there you go. But yeah, this knife is amazing, guys. And like I said, I got this knife the middle of last month, and it's been in my pocket ever since. I was carrying avidly every single day the CQC13, and as you know, that is a big boy. That is a big old clip point, and I think an overall length of has to be 9 inches, and this is coming in at 8 inches altogether. On paper 3.3. I'm gonna go ahead and call it 3.4. And another cool thing about this knife is, of course, with the MAGNACUT, with the 154 cm. They do, I believe, Emerson, I don't have the number in front of me right now, but the Rockwell hardness, they do kind of tinker with that to make it a little hair bit softer for, maintenance and sharpening. But with this MAGNACUT, they evidently did the Rockwell hardness to the standard that MAGNACUT calls for. They didn't tinker with it. They didn't, put their own spice on it. They straight did it up. I believe it was, 62, 64. And like I said, I really don't know a lot about that. If I started talking about, Rockwell hardness and stuff, I would sound like an idiot because I would have no clue what I'm talking about. I really do need to do a little research on that. But yeah, it's cool. They did the still the way it should be done. They're like, you know what, we're going to do a MAGNACUT. We're going to make it, we're going to make it the way it should be. And I'm so glad they did that. And Emerson is not a company that switches their knife stills around at all, hardly. Really, I think the only other knife other than this in production right now is like the CQC7 Flipper. And I believe it comes in S35V. And that's pretty consistent. I mean, it's out of stock right now, but they consistently make that knife in that steel. And I also wonder too, if they'll continue to make this knife in MAGNACUT. I really hope they do, because it kind of makes it special in that sense. It's like, oh yeah, you got the MAGNACUT Com7, or hopefully they start putting MAGNACUTs on other models. I think that's amazing. But hell, they may just release this thing in MAGNACUT one run or a couple runs and make it 154 cm. I hope they don't, but you never know. You never know. I'm not Emerson. I can't give you that info. But guys, this is an amazing everyday carry. I can't get enough of it. If you love the CQC7 and if you love the Commander, you're really going to love this. This is the love child of those two knives. It is absolutely amazing. And like I said, I got this knife the middle of last month. And of course, the holidays, Christmas kicking in, and I put this bad boy to work. We were out there cutting twine, cutting rope. My neighborhood made a bunch of balls, lit up balls to hang around down in our cul-de-sac. So I really put this thing to work. Boxes, rope, twine, everything you can think of, like not taking it easy on it. Not at all. And I have not touched this blade not one time with a stone, and it is hair splitting sharp. And like I said, 154 cm, like I said the same thing about it. I mean, it really is. I put 154 cm through a lot too, and it'll stay extremely sharp. But this is like hollow grind. It's sharp. Like, I mean, I think I've done a comparison with like, you know, a buck 110 in the past, and you know, you barely touch something and it starts slicing. This is right there with it, guys. And this is still, you know, a chiseled edge, you know, as Emerson tried and true will be. But man, it is sharp as crap, and it has not, it's just like I took it out of the box, and I have truly put this knife to work over the past month. There's no doubt about it. I've rode it hard and hung it up wet. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But guys, the MAGNACUT, believe the hype. This is my first knife in MAGNACUT, and I was really excited about getting that, you know, especially in Emerson. I think that's super cool that they, you know, released this in that. But it's wonderful, guys. And like I said, that thunderstorm finish looks amazing on this blade. And I guess it would on, you know, any other thunderstorm finish blade from the Com 7, you know, because it may have to be that MAGNACUT. Maybe it's the MAGNACUT giving off that shininess, but it definitely looks different. I mean, like I said, you know, look at that compared to that. I mean, right now, that's a pretty good comparison. Look at that. I mean, it's just day and night. Like, you can like see your reflection in that blade. And this, you know, it's kind of like just matte, which is beautiful as well. I mean, you know, this knife is not meant to be no beauty queen. This is meant to, you know, hey, let's get her done, baby. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to think of what else I can say about this bad boy, because it is a gorgeous knife. If you're thinking about it, don't think twice. I know it is a little bit pricier, and especially for this side blade, you know, coming in with the satin finish at $295, and if you do want to bump it up to the Thunderstorm, you're looking at $312. But you know, you are getting a solid knife, and you're getting beautiful MAGNACUT on it. And like I said, don't fret that 3.4 inch blade, guys. It feels so great in the hand. This isn't, now I made a comment on this to someone as well. I said, this really is like a one and done knife. I mean, that's not it. You know, I'm talking for the reasonable person here. But this really is a one and done knife. This knife will do anything you need it to do, whether it be, you know, cutting up material, whatever it may be, food prep. I mean, I never use my folders for food prep, or of course self-defense, you know, which is an Emerson aim, the sole aim of Emerson. Weapon first and tools second, and it does a damn good job at both. I've never used my Emerson as a weapon, but I've definitely waved it out if I saw a dog looking at me wrong or something like that, or hear a suspicious noise in the night. And you know, it's good to have it on you. But other than that, it just performs well. Everyday utilities, that like I said, that recurve, you know, going back to my old Commander reviews and stuff, nothing new. It just pops it, man. Like, you barely even touch it, and this, like a paracord, anything will just pop right in that belly right there, and it is so great to have. I think you got a better point with it with the new geometry of the blade. You know, the ergonomics are great. It's not as per se like blocky as the OG CQC7, which feels amazing. I love this handle, but it's also making me love this handle as well, because like you just lock in more, and it's definitely that front finger choil. And well, the backs are pretty similar, but you know, there may be the mildest hair of a difference, but nothing to really, you know, going on. I just think they shortened up, they took away some real estate, so your finger is really in that finger choil, and it really snugs you in. That's what I'm kind of getting off of it. But guys, the Emerson Com 7, it is the product of a beautiful marriage between two Emerson legends. And let me tell you something. I really think, and from my experience with this knife, in the short period of time I've had it, but still, I've really put some miles on it, and it looks amazing. Still performs amazing. I really see this being a legend as well in its own right. I don't see them doing away with this model. I really don't. It's just too practical, but yet it's just a good looking knife. It's just a really good looking knife, and one hell of an EDC. I can't say it enough. You know, it's not big in the pocket. It's got a great weight to it. I really can't say anything bad about this knife, and you're getting a pretty premium still. You know, that MAGNACUT is great. Like I said, 154 cm is amazing, but you know, MAGNACUT is that new thing out there, and it really is holding up. it really is holding up well. But yeah, guys, that about wraps it up. But I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. I know Christmas is sneaking up on us so fast. And hopefully, one of your loved ones, sees your stocking hanging by the fireplace and says, you know what, I'm going to slip him a COM7 up in there. I bet he'll love that. Yeah. That's wishful thinking. My wife will stab me with a COM7 if she saw this. But guys, hope you guys have an amazing, very Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family, enjoy your time together. But also with all the hoopla going on, all the Christmas, blah, 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 in your ear, in your face, please remember, stay sharp.